Hello and welcome to Cooking with Stodgy. Today we're going to be making a D&D inspired recipe called Bytopian Shepards Bread. First things first is we need to prep the carrots. They need grating. Only roughly. Doesn't need to be fine. That milk needs melting and we need to make some buttermilk. So quite easy, and of course the baking tray needs butter and having some non-stick parchment pudding, just so the cake doesn't stick. So let's do that first. So we just want a nice little coat on it. Get it all in the edges. And I'll have a list of all the ingredients you need down in the description below. And the recipe, of course, in case you want to make it yourself. So I think that's enough butter. We'll leave this out because we need a bit more for later. Should use some parchment, about that much. Now while you're doing this, you can also preheat your oven to 250 Fahrenheit or 180 Celsius, depending on which scale you want to use. If you use Kelvin, you're weird, shut up. So yeah, 250 Fahrenheit or 180 Celsius. That's that ready. I can put it to one side. Let's look at that. Now these need peeling. Get your peeler. And you're just going to want to peel these, get rid of the skin. Right, so that's these done. Now peeled. Now we need to grate them. So get your grater. Before you do that though, chop off the ends of your carrots, because you don't want them bits. So just get yourself a chopping board, chuck it down. Simple as this. You can leave where it goes from, because you need something to hold on to, don't you? Now just grate these. It's roughly a pound of carrots, about 500 grams. And you just want to grate these down. Try and make as little mess as you can. It just makes it easier for you later when you tidy up. Yeah, there you go. Simple as that. Now it's getting a bit full, so we're going to have to, because the grate's just not big enough, I'll have to go on to the next step. So we need a big bowl, and in this we want to put in the flour, which is 2 cups. This is usually, you don't need civet. I'm just using a half cup here, so I need to do 4. That's roughly probably around 450 grams of flour. You want 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Half a teaspoon of baking soda or bicarb soda. It is the same thing. And I'll fight you on if it isn't. Just a different name. You want some ginger. You want 2 teaspoons of this. And maybe a bit more. Cinnamon. You want only 1 teaspoon of this. Already I can smell the ginger and cinnamon coming out, and that's quite fragrant. That's going to be good. You want some nutmeg. Make sure I have to grind some. It's roughly a teaspoon. I'm just going to chuck in 1 whole nutmeg. And you want a bit of salt. A teaspoon. About that much. Then after you whisked all this together, you want to add the currants. If you can get currants, raisins will do. So get your half cup again. There's mine. So it is. And if you feel a bit peckish, add some yourself. There's nothing wrong with eating it yourself. Then you want to stir to combine it all. In a separate bowl, you will whisk the eggs and brown sugar until well blended. We want 3 eggs. That's 1. 2. And 3. So those are your eggs. Don't forget to wash your hands. Brown sugar, you want roughly 3/4 of a cup. So I'm going to whisk all this together. That should do. Then you want to add melted butter. And you're going to want 1/4 cup. Now, what you can do while you try and melt your butter, if you can buy it, you can buy buttermilk. If not, you'll have to make it. It's very simple. For every 100ml, you only need 100ml, is a tablespoon of lime juice. And you just let it sit for a few minutes. Right, so now we've got our butter melted. We'll whisk this in as well. So whisk and combine all this, just like that, nice and easy. Then you'll add your buttermilk. And vanilla extract, and then you would whisk again. So there's the buttermilk. And if you want your vanilla extract, you only want a teaspoon of this. Whiskey is trying to escape me. Then you mix all this together, like roughly so. And after this, you want to stir in the carrots. So all of these. Plus the remaining carrot you're not finished grating. carrot in. Get your fingers in and get the rest of it. You only need a single bit. You need to stir all this together. Get yourself another spoon. Now, if you're not like me, you might have a bigger bowl. That would be ideal, honestly. But you get what you get. Now, all the liquid should pretty much just get hidden by the carrot. Just like so, and then you want to add it into dry ingredients. Pour all that in here. And then, ideally you want to use a flat switch actually. I've got one, it's big. You want to fold and stir until they're all just incorporated. You don't want to overmix this. Now we want to put this into our prepared pan, which we've got right here. This is probably the easiest bit. You just want to chuck it in, use your spatula and push it in. Get all this in there. It's quite a thick mixture, this. Smooth it out, push it into its corners. Just like that. Now you want to get your almonds. You can use silvered or sliced. I've got flat. This one, and basically sliced. And you just want to sprinkle these very lightly over. You want around a quarter of a cup worth. So, pour into the cup. Only that much. Sprinkle it over the top. Spin them out a little bit. You want roughly even stir to them. You can add a bit more if you want. And you just want to tap them in a little bit, just so they stick into the batter. This goes in your oven. It should be warmed up by now. Make sure it's not on the bottom of your pan like food. Put it in the centre, and when you take a toothpick into it, it should come out clean. You want to rotate it halfway through its cooking time, which is 55 minutes. So mine's now gone in. We'll check on it in 22 minutes, and we'll spin it around, and it should be done after another 22. Welcome back. Now our cake's been in the oven for around 55 minutes. We turned it. It's time to get it out. And before we turn the oven off, we need to make sure it's cooked all the way through. So get skewer, steak, whatever, stab it in. There you go. Clean. So we're going to let that cool for around 15 minutes, and then we're going to serve it. Now that it's cooled down enough, let's actually try a bit. I'm going to take it off it. While it's been cooling on, pull it out of this paper. Smell that carrot and that cinnamon. It does smell good. Get rid of this. Don't need that. Right. Now it's time for the test. Now that does look good. Let's try a little bit, shall we? It's still quite warm in the middle. I'm going to go for a thin slice. I didn't really cut that well, did I? Let's try a bit. Now that is really nice. It's nice and moist, it's not wet. The flavour is low. I highly recommend you make it, even if you never tried making a cake. Give this a crack, you'll love it. And I'll see you next time. Take care.